Hi there and welcome back, or just welcome. Today we're doing another recipe. We're making one of my favorite dishes, which is a butter chicken curry, but we're making it all vegan, of course. Today we're cooking a new recipe. Murgh makhani, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, is a butter chicken curry. So a few things you're going to need for this recipe. One is we're going to be using tofu as the chicken. Then we've got our mix of spices that I'll tell you later on what's exactly in them. And then you're also going to need coconut milk. Your basic stuff like onion, ginger, garlic. You should, or you could also add a chili. So let's get started. First things first, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 200 Celsius, and then we're going to rip the tofu into like chunks to make it kind of look like chicken rather than using a knife. And then we're going to pop that in the oven whilst we make the rest of the curry. Alright, so I've got my tofu, and this is just a traditional tofu, and I haven't pressed it. I will keep pressing people about not having to press your tofu. It literally isn't necessary. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just rip it into chunks, about this size, just whatever you think a good chicken sized chunk is. And then you're just gonna keep doing that until you've used up all the tofu. And then when you've used up all the tofu and it's spread out on the baking tray, make sure it's not touching the other bits of tofu, because we're gonna try and get like a little bit of coloring on it, not too much. It doesn't need to go mega crispy. Then just a bit of pepper, some salt. This is my little bread-shaped salt shaker by possession. And then just some vegetable oil. This is sunflower oil, which at the moment is basically liquid gold. Use it wisely. And that's it really. So that's gonna go in the oven. While that's in the oven, we're gonna get started on the actual curry. This is my little anti-slip method for my cutting board. It's just some kitchen towels and some water. Cutting board on top, can't move, safety. Chop the onion and the garlic and the ginger, and before we do that, we're just gonna get some vegetable oil in this pan, and then I'm gonna add a tablespoon of vegan butter as well. So I'm gonna put that on the hob and slowly heat that up. So when it comes to chopping your onion and your garlic and your ginger, you really won't have to worry that much about your cutting skills and your chopping skills, because I like to, at the end, when the whole curry comes together, before we put in the tofu, use a blender. I use a hand blender, the immersion blender, but you can pop it in a blender as well to just like kind of smooth it out. There's no need to like blend up your curries and make them smoother. This is purely based on whether you like it or not. I think it makes this one like a nicer consistency. You also can even sieve it if you want like a very, very velvety result, but it's definitely not necessary. So, you know, it's up to you. I'm gonna add in the onion to the pan. Then we're gonna do the garlic. As far as garlic goes, this is always totally up to you how much garlic you want to use. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 cloves. And chuck that in with the onion. And then the ginger, just peel off the skin. By now everyone's seen the trick of peeling ginger with a spoon. Just going to roughly chop that as well, because there there's no need to do it precisely today. I'm gonna let the onion and garlic cook for a bit before I add the ginger in. And then we will move on to the spices that we've got here. Obviously a curry is best served with a delicious rice. So I would opt for a long grain rice. I wanted to buy basmati, but I couldn't. They were out in my shop. So I ended up buying jasmine rice, and that should be fine as well. Or delicious if you pair it with maybe a naan or roti or just any bread really. Bread is always welcome. So choose your rice. And also wash your rice, otherwise you're gonna get into trouble. And then once the ginger's in, it's fine to try and get a little bit of color in on the onion. Not too much, we don't want to burn it. But it is good if we start to get like a little bit of heat there before we start adding in the spices. I've just taken the tofu out of the oven. That is nice and golden. That's perfect. So we're going to leave this to the side until we're ready to put it in the curry. That was in the oven for about 20 minutes. Perfect. It is time to add in our spices and toast them for a couple of minutes to really get all those flavors and smells going. So first of all, I have a bowl here that I mix in garam masala, madras powder, cumin, coriander, and then in this one we have fenugreek, chili flakes, and nigella seeds. So I'm going to put this on the heat and toast up those spices. I wish you could smell this. Our spices have been sufficiently toasted, so I'm going to deglaze the pan with the coconut milk. Always get a full fat coconut milk, never get the other stuff. There we go. Beautiful. Gorge. Gorgina. The tin tummies. Some black pepper. And then at this stage, don't start over salting it or tasting it really for whether it's salty enough for you. You can always correct salt at the end. You can always add salt. You can't take it out. That's the best. Ooh, just got some coconut milk on my face. That's the best tip I can give you that other people have given me. So I'm gonna put this back on the hob and we're gonna let this heat through and let it cook for a couple of minutes. This is a good time to A, do some cleanup, and B, if you're cooking rice, if you haven't already, this would be a good time to cook your rice. And don't start cooking it without washing it first. Don't let me see that stuff. I've blended up the curry. Always have a little taste. Perfect. Okay, so that's ready. I've cooked my rice. We've got the tofu here. So we're just gonna transfer that all in. And then let's plate it up, shall we? All right, everyone, I really hope you enjoyed this one. I always enjoy making this recipe, and it also just looks beautiful. Without further ado, let's have a taste. It's really dark outside. It's so grey and it's gone so dark that I decided to just sit by the balcony doors for some light. Here we go. You can make this as spicy or as not spicy as you want. I definitely put more chili flakes in than normally, so this has got a bit more of a kick to it than how I've made it previously. It's good. I do sometimes make homemade like rotis. I do wish I made one, but I didn't, so yeah. It is so good with rice. The tofu is nice and soft, like it melts in the mouth. I always find that, I don't know, it always sounds a bit cringe, melts in the mouth, but it's what it does, so. Anyway, I hope you make this. Do let me know in the comments if you do. The recipe will the recipe will also be up on the blog, so you can like see the full written out recipe. That's it for this week. I will see you next week for another video, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks for watching.